Good morning, everyone. Congratulations on your nomination. I wish you well going forward. I was glad to see so many colleagues speak so highly of each of you. I've been watching our court in Rhode Island and also courts around the country witnessing a very significant diminution in civil jury trials. Jury trials generally, civil jury trials in particular. Some years ago, the then chief judge of our Rhode Island District Court noted that they hadn't seen a civil jury trial in 3 years. Now, with the appointments that we've made to that court, it has opened back up, if you will, and now civil jury trials are happening again. But civil jury trials have been, I think, considerably discouraged by actions of the Supreme Court as it relates to rules of procedure, and even more discouraged by the Supreme Court as it relates to agreements to handle matters through private mediation and arbitration, very often forced on consumers in massive contracts that they have no ability to negotiate. So I'm interested in hearing your thoughts on the role of the civil jury. I think our founding fathers saw it as not just a fact-finding adjunct to a judge, but actually an important part of our constitutional structure of governance. And in particular, those of you who've been magistrates, in some cases, it's the magistrate's job to try to make sure a case does not go to trial and to put pressure on parties to settle so that the judge doesn't have to go through running a jury trial. And I want to make sure that that's not the way you behave and that's not the way you would behave as a judge. And I guess I'll just go right down the line, if you don't mind saying a quick word on your view of upholding the institution of jury trials should you be confirmed. Judge Cassaway.
Senator, jury trials are enshrined in our Constitution within the body itself and the Sixth and Seventh Amendments. With respect to civil jury trials, they're a cornerstone to our democracy. When Senator Merkley described a comment that I made about democracy works and only works when you shine the light on it, the juries are what bear witness to that which happens in our courtrooms and that which is determined to be fact or not. They are an incredible moderator to that which is and which is not. And without the jury system to help set that tone, to set that model going forward, we lose a piece of our democracy.
Senator, it's different. I understand your question to focus on jury trials and civil cases. There's a few things about that. I presided over my first jury trial as a judge within a few months of taking the bench as a magistrate judge. I do strongly believe in civil cases and the party's right to have their cases heard and have their issues aired in front of a jury. As a lawyer, of course, that comes from my background of being primarily a civil trial lawyer, and so I've believed in the right to get to a jury and to try cases. And it is, as I tell the jurors in the cases when we're doing jury selection, that they're being there, they're participating in a fundamental right under our Constitution. They're participating in the Constitution. They're exercising their constitutional rights by participating. So I do believe it's a very important right.
Most of my experience has been in the criminal jury trial system. However, I will share this. It is vital to our justice system to have jury trials. I have had the pleasure of talking with jurors after the conclusion of their cases to ask them about their experience. And while many are very honest and say they didn't, coming in, they didn't necessarily want to serve, by the end of the trial, they were all honored to serve their country and to do their duty. And they recognize the importance of that process, to be a jury of their peers to an individual who has been charged with an offense. So I've recognized and see how vital jury trials are. And I would say in the state of Hawaii, civil jury trials are happening all the time. So it's alive and well there.
Mr. Semper, you'll be the last because my time is just run out.
Thank you, Senator. I share the views of my colleagues. As a lawyer, I've spent a considerable amount of my time in front of juries, putting important and difficult questions in front of them. I think the jury system is an indispensable feature of our legal system. And if I were so fortunate enough to be confirmed, I would certainly do what I could to facilitate the jury trial process.